Good evening, guys. Welcome to the session. We will just wait a couple of minutes for others to join. I hope this is okay with you guys. In the meanwhile, as you all know that this is an interactive session, so feel free to turn on your mics and discuss anytime that you want. How many guys were there in the last session when we discussed float? And any questions regarding the assignment?
So which assignment you are going to do, sir?
Um, any
Fifth
assignment
term?
that you have already submitted till now? I guess week 4 has already been
Four.
submitted.
Four you have submitted.
Okay, there is some doubt.
No. That's what the problem was. What bigger
Okay,
the fourth
problem.
assignment, and then we have worked out, but we have got one or two questions wrong. So if that is worked out, and then or at least that the Excel definition is shown, then we'll be happy.
Okay, so I will. Which question are you talking about? That last
That
one,
is the
right?
that's the last assignment four that
20
after
activity.
the seventh, yeah, 20 activity,
Yeah.
yeah, 20 activities. Because
Uh,
there a lot of confusion with the sequence. Because without going for the next activity, there is another 18, 19 like that. Now it was somewhat confusing.
okay. So, is there any confusion in drawing the network or solving the critical network analysis?
Drawing also you have to
I
network
tried.
also should to
I
be drawn, sir.
Okay. I mean, see, the only reason I'm asking is that if there is no issue in drawing the network, we will start directly with network analysis. Or else we can take a couple of minutes in drawing the network also.
Yes, sir. We can
Yes, we cannot
do the drawing
different.
also.
Okay.
Yeah, drawing as well as that Excel, that is tabulation. Because
Okay.
Both are possible,
using
sir.
that Excel, we are able to somehow get some answers. But without drawing, then we will not be able to understand. Yes.
Uh, yeah, that one thing we can do. We will try to solve the complete question, but I would ask you guys to bring uh, what I can say, the smaller questions. There are no the parts of the questions because I will be working on I mean PPT only. So you just remind me what the questions are.
Plan number one
Okay.
Okay,
three
okay,
nine.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening.
Sir, I had one doubt, sir, regarding that shared float, sir. I didn't understand the shared float concept
Uh,
in total.
okay. So shared float concept. What we will do is we will discuss it right now. Okay, give me a
Yes,
moment.
sir. Yes.
But I will have to bring some slides from previous session.
Sir, assignment fifth, question number 5 to 7. I'm not able to get that question.
Assignment 3.
Five, five,
Uh,
five.
okay, assignment 5. But you have not
Ah, yeah.
submitted it, right?
No, I haven't submitted. I'm not working on it.
Okay, so I mean, see, its deadline is not over. So what we will do is during this session itself, we will discuss the points related to that assignment. Okay,
Okay, sir.
and
Okay.
if it is not covered, like if some part of the question is remaining, you just remind it to me.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So where were we? Float, right? So let me have this slide. It will show you. Okay, so first we are discussing a doubt. Okay, let me start the session. Okay, so good evening, guys. Welcome once again to the session. The course is Project Planning and Control. We are into week 5. The course instructor is Professor Koshy Verghese at IIT Madras. I am Venugopal Mahajan, a PhD fellow at IIT Delhi. So, you guys have already gone through 4 weeks now, right? So, this week we will be discussing time cost trade off or crashing, as they say. So, before discussing, we had one question related to shared float, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I would request you to look at these two activities. Let me change the color so it's better for you. Yeah, activity A and activity B. You know the representation? The total float here is 25 for both the activities, right? Now, let's
Yes.
suppose you utilize this 25 here itself. Okay, there is 25 total float. So, if in activity A itself you utilize 25, then when will activity A complete? 25 plus 20 at 45, right? And if B starts at 45, when will B finish? B will finish by 60, and 60 itself is its latest finish time, right? If you delay even by 1 day, it will start delaying the whole project. So you can see that even if B has the total float of 25, but as the predecessing activity A has already utilized it, there is no total float remaining for B, right? Can you see it in the figure itself?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this 25 is shared between A and B. So this is the shared float. Okay, got it?
It can be with the free float also. Free float also can be shared.
Yeah, shared can be anything, but uh, the we don't name it as a shared float. Shared float is again a concept for understanding that it need not be that uh, what I can say, that float need not be specific to a activity itself. Like we have got independent float that is specific to activity, but when we talk about total float or free float, it can be shared among different activities also. Hope you got the idea.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now coming to crashing. What is crashing? What do you mean by crashing?
Reducing.
Huh?
Reducing the duration.
Uh,
Reducing the
Reducing the duration.
duration of project.
okay. Why do we need to reduce the
Or
duration of the
that
project?
reducing the duration of activity.
Yeah. I think my network
To
is
reduce cost.
In order to reduce the cost, sir.
okay. Reducing the duration in order to reduce the cost. Can there be any other reason?
Sir, to meet the contractual dates.
Okay. Contract contract deadline. And what else?
Many times, sir, the resources are not means in that quantity, so we have to use those resources in a very planned manner.
Okay, but that is resource leveling, resource scheduling. That is not crashing, right?
Okay.
Tell me one thing. When we calculated activity float, guys, give me a moment. I am just stopping the slideshow. We will continue our discussion. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So tell me one thing. We calculated activity duration, right?
Okay.
Did we or did we not calculate activity duration? So, and we also calculated project duration. So my question to you guys is, if the project duration we calculated was a single value, how can we reduce it?
Depending upon the
Yeah.
and also what is the extra cost that you have
Uh,
if you reduce
okay.
the duration of a
Uh,
particular activity, we have to put some more extra cost.
uh, it seems that I am having technical issue today. Okay.
By
Uh,
doing the project parallel.
guys, can you speak a little louder?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will repeat my question. We were working till now. We had some activity duration. We know how to calculate activity duration. And then we also know how to perform network calculations. We know how to calculate the project duration. If we are getting the single value for project duration, how can we reduce the duration of the whole project?
By
By
increasing the
crashing the
resources
activities on
Sir, by
or
putting extra resources to
critical
the
path, sir.
project.
or
Okay,
by doing two
extra resources
activities
for the project or
simultaneously.
some specific activity?
A specific
Sir,
activity, sir.
for the specific activity, sir, if it is duration is more, then we can increase the production.
Okay, so what we are focused on is the duration of the activity, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, on what? So one way is to add resources, right? Will it lead to reduction of cost also? If you add
Yes,
resources
sir.
to,
No,
hmm?
no, it will increase the
No,
cost.
No,
sir,
sir.
it will increase.
It
Uh,
will increase the cost.
Okay, so if it is increasing the cost, then also you want to do crashing. Why? Just to meet the contract deadline or anything else?
To complete the project
Within
in the
time limit.
cost defined.
Okay, yeah, that's, I mean, what your contractual obligations are, you are doing it, right? So, okay, what we will do is we will take one example. We will go through it each step, like how is the duration affecting the cost or what different types of costs are, right? So, time cost relationship, just the basics, right? For activity, if you have to define, activity duration, activity cost. Uh, let's say this is our duration and this is the respective cost. If if our duration reduces, right? This is normal. In crashing, our duration will reduce, right? Let's say
Yes, sir.
our duration is now come to this point. What do you think? The cost will increase or decrease?
Increase, sir.
Okay.
Increase suddenly.
So cost will increase. So we have got a crash point here. What do you think? What is the relationship between these 2 points? I mean, you have got point 1 and point 2, right? Normal and crashed. So what should be the curve, or is there any relationship or not? Or are they isolated?
A parabola curve.
Linearity, sir.
Okay, I have got two answers till now, parabola curve and linearity. Can it be anything else?
Direct cost.
Optimum value.
Okay, optimum value. We will talk about optimum value when we talk about project time cost relationship. Because in case of activities, what you have been given is, see, the let's say normal duration is 10 days, crash duration is 4 days, normal cost is 1000 and crash cost is 3000. Okay. Now, from coming reducing the duration from 10 days to 4 days, it could be that you reduce it linearly, right? One day at a time, and
Yes, sir.
calculate the cost. Or it could be such situation that either you can complete your project in 8 days, or 5 days, or 4 days. So similarly, you have some cost associated: 8-day cost, 5-day cost. So your curve would have been a step curve, right? Or there could have been non-linear relationship, right? But in our case, what we will be assuming is, if there is no other information given, we will be taking it as linear. Okay. Now coming to project. Okay, what is the project cost made up of?
Direct
Man,
cost and
sir,
indirect cost.
means
Direct and indirect cost.
Okay, so basically we have got two terms: direct, indirect. So the general convention is that direct cost is whatever you are paying for each activity, right? Indirect cost is the overall, uh, overheads and other hidden cost for the project. So the general trend we will see is that direct cost increases with the crashing. Okay, like you are paying more to get the work done in the earlier time, and indirect cost reduces. So if you have to plot the curve, you will see that your direct cost is increasing. If this is your direct cost at normal duration, this is at your crash duration, right? And similarly, your indirect cost may increase, or yeah, indirect cost may decrease. So this is your indirect cost, direct, indirect. So your total cost may be a may seem a curve like this, and the minimum value, it is not at the normal or crashed, it is somewhere in between. So that is your optimum value. So what you have got is, you have got minimum cost, optimum duration. I know these curves just random values. So again, we will solve a numerical and try to plot the points. One more request in this case: when you will be solving the numericals with me, you have to use your calculator anyway. Try to take the pictures of tables, because we will be moving to and fro for each slide. The questions are new also for me. Recently made for you guys. So yeah, you have been given project data, 8 activities. The questions are: what is the total normal duration, what is the minimum project duration, and if you have to complete it in minimum time, what is the extra cost? What is the first step? All of you can follow
Yes,
the
sir.
question, right? What should be the first step? Just the first part of the question: what is the total normal duration? How can we calculate it?
by drawing the network, sir.
By drawing the network and critical path, right? So
Yeah.
let's do it. Okay, this is the same table. What we have got A, B, C. I'll be making AOA network for this case. Okay, so we have got ABC, as the starting activities. Then towards the end, we have got FGH, and somewhere in between we have got D and E. Let's try to make it. Then there is D, right? So D should be somewhere linking, and B and D, B and D, F and G we have got. So yeah, and anything else from A? Yeah, we have got E, right? Okay, this is not H as I would say. Any activity that follows C. Okay, okay, let me draw it in short first. That would give me much help. A, B, C. We have got activity D. So from where BD ends, we have got F and G. But yeah, G, F, and let's end our C here. So C and F we have got H, and G and H are our ending activities, right? Okay, is this network correct that I have drawn in rough? Can you guys check the relationships once? Yeah, it seems good to me. So I will just make it in the same manner. C3, and what else? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, is this the correct network diagram? Can you guys check for me? I think so. Is it correct?
Correct. Correct.
I have not got a single yes, so maybe I should check again. ABC. Yeah, I have not written D here, right? D, and again I missed E. Yeah, so that would be E. Then I've got F is BD. G is, yeah, is this correct now? See, that happens when we have got arbitrary uh, drawing. Yeah, anybody who has an objection or can find faults here? Otherwise, I will move with. I will move assuming that this is the correct one. Okay. Yeah. For A, normal duration is 8. 8 5. B is 8 4. C 6 and 3. What about D? 9 and 7. E 20 and 7. G is 11 and 5. F is how much? 9 and 5. H is 12 and 7. Yeah. So let's. Guys, are you still here?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Uh,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. So let's try to do forward pass and backward pass. Okay, 0, 8. What about this 3 now? This becomes 8 and 9, 17. 17 and 9, 26. 28, or 17 and 11 is how much? 28 from this side also, and 26 plus 12, 38. Right? So,
Sir, if we draw this network by AON, sir, activity on node,
yeah.
then we have to introduce some dummy activity here, sir, for this.
No, see, dummy activities are there in activity on arrow networks. And we have actually drawn activity on arrow network only. And in this case, there is no dummy I can see. In activity on node network, there won't be any dummy. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, if we. Okay, guys, do I really need to do backward pass for this case?
No, sir.
Why?
Not required.
Okay, let it be. So, our question was, what is the total normal duration? 38 days. What is the minimum project duration? So, how will we calculate the minimum project duration?
By crashing,
By crashing. Or can we do something like that? That let's say the what is the crash duration given to us? Let's try to find out what is the um, what I can say. What is the duration if all the activities are crashed? Can we try it like that? Okay, so let's try to do crashing first. Step 0, duration is 38 days. None. Direct cost is not given. I would just keep it as X. Indirect cost X. Cumulative cost X. Okay. At the first step, let's start to do some crashing. Uh, you have been directly given the cost slope. What is the cost slope?
90.
Yeah, you have been given crash cost per day has been given to you. Okay. So now you tell me which activity should we crash first? Is there any way to know
which
which
is
should we?
having minimum cost flow.
Okay. Which activity has minimum cost flow? Activity
G,
G, right?
G, G.
G. If you reduce your duration of activity G by 1 day, does it change your critical path? So you will be asking me, we don't even know the critical path, right?
No, sir. It will
It's
not
a
change.
critical
Yeah.
path.
So that's why I was asking that we have to do backward pass and we should know what is the critical path. Okay. So what I would do is I would just highlight the critical path. No, this may not work this time, right? Because we will need. Okay. So I'll just A is on critical path. A, D, F, and
Yeah.
H are on the critical path, right? You can count also 8, 9, 17, 17 and 9, 26, 26 and 12, 38. And rest of all are non-critical activities, right?
So we have to crash, sir, critical activities only, no, which is having minimum cost slope.
Yeah. So we have to first of all try to reduce the total project duration. And how do you reduce the total project duration? You reduce the time at critical path. What is the critical path? ADFH, right? So critical path is
D, sir. We have to crash D activity, sir.
okay. Uh, okay, we'll Just one question here. What are the alternate paths here? What are the total paths here? There is one ADFH. What else?
AE,
AE,
BG,
BG, CH.
BFH,
Okay, which one?
BFH,
Okay,
BCH.
BFH. Anything else?
BCH, BCH.
BC.
No, BCH doesn't seem to me a critical.
No, no, no. CH, sir.
Yeah,
Only CH.
yeah, CH I wrote.
Yes,
Anything
yes,
else?
yes. No, sir.
Okay, so we have got five paths, right?
Okay.
And okay, AE, AD. There is ADG also.
A, D, E.
ADG. ADG.
Yeah, ADG also is there. Then
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
BG,
ADG.
BFH, CH. Yeah, this seems to me. Okay, so these are the total paths. Our critical path right now is ADFH. I will say why I said right now. And in ADFH, the minimum cost slope is of activity A,
D.
D, F, and H. So you will say it is of 60, right? Minimum is
Yes,
of
sir.
D. So what we do is reduce D by 1 day.
Yes, sir.
So what is the total duration now? If you reduce D by 1 day,
37.
it is 37, right?
Yes.
And what is the cost incurred? 60. What should be the second step? Okay, so
We have
now
to crash.
this
We
38
have
has
to.
become 37
Yes.
and this 9 has become 8. What else?
We have to crash another activity which is having
See,
less SOP,
guys,
means
this
cost, sir.
is. I mean, okay. Let me be honest with you guys. The way we are doing it is like very arbitrary. There are methods nowadays, but at the basic level, it has to be arbitrary and just the cost slope just by checking the cost slope, and this is the way you get the basics, like why we are doing what is happening. Okay, so you guys will have to spend some time. See, we just right now we reduce the duration of D by 1 day, and we said that it is 37. It can be possible that other paths duration are 38 or can be, I mean, equal to 37. So
Yes,
the
sir.
way to do it is like right now you have not got any idea of what is the float. This is AOA diagram, right? So no floats. So what we do here is when we have got the paths, just calculate the time for each path. Okay, this is 38. What about AE? 28, BG 19, CH 6 and 12, right?
Yes, sir.
18. What about BFH? B, F, and H. Um, 8, 9, and I mean 17 and 20, 29.
29.
Yeah. ADG 8, 9, 17, and 11, 28. Okay. So you reduce the duration of D by 1 day. Reduce for each path. Okay. So this became 37. Where else D is there? This became 27. Okay. Now what is the next step? There is 1 day scope for D again, right? So now this has become 8. What next? How will you reduce the again the critical path is same, ADF. So again reduce the duration of D by 1 more day. Reduce D by 1 day. This becomes 36. Direct cost 60. So cumulatively it increased by 120. Now let's see what happened here. As soon as you reduce it by 7, 36, 26, right? Only these activities, and now you cannot further crash activity D, right? But the critical path is still the same, ADFH. So now A, D, and F, which of them have the minimum cost flow? 90, 70, and 80. So you'll say 70. Activity F. In one step itself, can we reduce 4 days?
No.
Can we reduce it? Yeah, we can. Why not? I mean, we are crashing itself, right? So if you reduce activity F by 4 days, this is step 1, step 2, then step 3 by 4 days. I will write it for you. Okay. Reduce F by 4 days. So this becomes 32. What will the direct cost? Direct cost would be 70 into 4, 280, and this becomes 400. And if you reduce it by 4 days, this is 5 now. This becomes 32, which all have F here. This becomes 25. What next? Still the critical path is same, ADFH. So this is 5 now. We have got, now we can go for H, activity H. Can we reduce activity H directly by 5 days here? Let's try it. Then what should have been your duration here? 32. Yeah. If you reduce activity H by 5 days, this becomes 27, right? And this becomes 20. But the critical path has now changed. Can you guys follow this? This is a crucial step here. If you if you crash your activity directly H directly by 5 days, your path that was under consideration ADFH becomes 27, but AE, another path, is critical now because its duration is 28 days. Can you see now why we wrote all the paths and their durations?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me do it in two steps. Instead of 5 days, let me reduce it by 4 days. Okay, so if I reduce it by 4 days, uh, yeah, this is 5. Where was H? Yeah, this is 8 now. So that means you have got 28, 28 and 21 H by 4 days. Now you can see that there are two critical paths. Can there be two critical paths?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have got two critical paths. Now if we have to reduce the duration, that means they both have to go down at the same time.
Yes, sir.
So one way to do is that let's see which is the common activity. Common activity seems to be A, right?
Yes,
A
sir.
is there in both the paths, right? So AE, A is there in both the paths. Only one activity common. If there were multiple activities common, then we would have seen cost slope. Okay, A is common in both the activities. Now, uh, let's try to reduce the duration. There is 3 days scope for A, right? By 3 day itself, this becomes 28. This is step number 4. What was the cost flow for H? H was 80, right? So 80 into 4. So this becomes 720. Then reduce A by 3 days. If you reduce your A by 3 days, what happens? This becomes 25. This becomes 25. What about this? ADG 3 days 23, and this is now 5. Everybody is happy. Still the critical path are same, 25 and 25. Okay. Still, are you guys here or have I lost you?
Yes, sir. Here only.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, so let me restart here. Okay. There were A, D, F, H, A, and E. One way is you take what is the common and see what is the coleslaw, or what else you can do is you have got E, another activity coming in, and activity D and C. D is already crashed, F is already crashed, but in H you have got 1 day scope, right? H you can crash for one more day, na?
Yes,
F
sir.
is still at 8, so D is done, F is done, and
Okay.
E, if you crash for one day, what is the cost? See,
30.
30. So one option is either you crash activity A, crash act A by one day, or option 2 is crash E and H by one day. So what is the cost here? For activity A it is 90. For E and H it is what? 30 plus 80, 110.
110.
So you would prefer that, okay, let's just crash A, right?
90.
Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So if you agree, you know why we went for one activity, and it can be the case that where E and H would the sum would have been less, so you would have crashed those first. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So 3 days. Okay. AS 90. So this becomes 25. Step 5. 90 into 3. So how much is it? Uh,
270. 270.
270, right? So 990. 990, right? Yeah. So coming back now, A you have already exhausted. There is one scope in H till now, right? What next? What is the critical path still? These two are the critical path yet,
88.
ADFH
70.
and AE,
80.
or have they
80. 80.
changed? The critical path hasn't changed, right? Guys, has the critical path changed?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's try to. Is the sum correct now? ADFH. A is at 5, D is at 7, 5 and 7, 12, and 5, 17, 17 and 8, 25. Yeah, right. So what next? Again, you can't crash A right now. You have got one alternative: crash E and H together, right? E and H by one day, because you have not got any other scope in this critical path, right? A, D, H, F, and AE by one day. So this becomes 24. Uh, 6. Yeah. So what would be the cost here? E and H. E is this is 19 now. H is exhausted. 7, uh, 80 plus 30, 110. So this becomes 1100. And if you check here, this is 24, this is again 24, and okay, any other h we reduced, right? So this becomes what, c, where was c? Yeah, 6 plus 7, 13. And this is 7 now. Yeah, b is how much now? B is 8, 5, and 7, 5, and this is 20. Yeah. So is there any, so you have got these steps, and finally cumulative cost is 1100 and your duration has reduced to 24 days. Can you reduce it further? Again the same way. What is the critical path? ADFH and AE. Is there any scope in critical path now?
We can crash activity E, sir.
Okay, if you crash activity E, how many days can we crash activity E?
7 days.
7 days.
This remaining.
No, sir.
Why not? See
Means
now.
because
Yeah. Yeah, do tell.
means activity means initial critical path ADFEH will remain same, no, sir?
Yeah. So what is happening is that right now you have got two critical paths, ADFH
Yes.
and AE. Now they both are 24-day duration. So if you have to reduce again by 1 day, you have to reduce the duration of both
Both.
the paths.
Yes, sir.
Is there any scope in this critical path, ADFH?
No, sir. We have crashed all activities.
Yeah, we have crashed all activities. Like even if you check by the crash duration for ADFH, 5, uh, 7,
7, 5,
5, and 7.
and 7.
Yeah, 24. So if there is no scope for further crashing, do we really need to look into other activities?
Sir, can't we crash E activity, sir?
Sir,
I think there is no scope, sir. Means
yeah. Okay. So let's say we crash activity E even by 1 day. Okay. If you crash activity E by 1 day, this path AE will change to 23 days, right? But there
Yes,
is
sir.
no change in this 24-day duration, na? ADFH. So this becomes your critical path.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so what is happening is that you are spending 30 rupees extra per day, but your critical path remains the same. So is there any sense in doing it?
No, sir.
Okay. So
Okay.
that means if you have to answer the questions previous here, the minimum project duration is 22 days, 24 days, and extra cost incurred is 1100.
Cumulative cost.
Agreed? Okay, how many
Mhm.
of you are not comfortable in this numerical till now? Or did you feel that we missed something while we were jumping the days, like in step 3, 4, 5? See, I want honest answers.
Sir, I didn't understand, sir. You reduced F by 4 days. That one, please explain, sir, again.
Okay, so reducing F by 4 days. Anybody else? Okay, so see, this is quite important. What happened? But sir, instead of repeating this example, I would first take you to another example where we will do day by day. Here this time we jumped, and we will do day by day
Okay.
and see a different notation. Even in AOA network itself, we will see different.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So this is the data now. You have not been given what cost slope, right? Can you calculate cost slope? And you have to make the network also. Okay. So what does the network seem? Network seem A, B. Then you have got from B you have got uh, C. From C
See,
you have got D,
please.
right? And from B itself you have got F.
Sir, draw this network, sir, once with AON, sir.
AOA, right?
AON, sir. I am practicing that only, sir.
Activity at node.
Okay, activity on node network. Okay. See, activity on node network is quite simple in this case. There is activity A, there is activity B. Then from activity B you have got activity C, activity D. From B itself you have got which activity? Activity F. Then from activity D and F,
E is going.
yeah. So you have got activity E, and yeah, that's it. So this is your project finish, and this is your project to start, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Um, okay. So let's try with AOA also,
Okay.
or if you want, we can solve it with this also. It's up to you guys because previous question was AOA and you have got doubts in that. That's why I was thinking of doing this with AOA, if you agree. I mean, it's a this is democracy, right?
Okay, so we shall go with AOA.
AOA, okay. AOA, we'll try once, okay? Actually, what happened today? I tried to attach a second screen. So yeah, CD. Then from what? D and F. So this
See,
could have been what is this? E. Yeah, is this the correct network? What do you guys think? Is this the correct network? Okay, let me
A.
two this will be 3, this will be 4, this will be 5. What about the durations? Activity A 12, B 3, C 4, D is what? 3, F
three.
is 6, E is 5. Right? So how many paths are there? There is A, there is B, C, D, E,
B C D E
and B, F, E, right?
E B F E.
Yeah. Uh, so let's do some calculations. 0, 3, 3, 4, 7, and yeah, 7 and 3, 11. It either it would have been 3 and 6, 9. So yeah, and 12 or 11 and 5, 17. Right?
So it's 3 10.
Yeah, this would have been 10, and this would have been 15. Okay, does this seem correct to you guys?
Yes, sir.
So what, from the first day itself when we started drawing A network, we knew that the length of arrow doesn't mean anything, right? Or does it mean anything? Length of arrow didn't mean anything to us till now. Okay, was there any meaning in the length of the arrows, or did, like you can see here, this arrow is long for activity B, short for activity D, but the duration is same.
Yes.
So there was uh,
Mm.
no significance of the length of the arrow. And what I would do right now is I would make a time scaled diagram for you in this case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 3, 5. Right? So let this be, can we make it on the scale of 2? Let me see. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right? So this is your event 1. From 1, if you go to 3 days, which activity is this? Activity B 3. Coming to event 2. Then from 2, if you go 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4. This was 4. Sorry,
See.
C and 4. Then from activity 3, if you went 5 days, no, 3 days, right? 1, 2, 3. I will tell you why we are doing all this. D 3 days, then 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E 5 days. Now at the same time, if I have to draw activity A, I could draw it like this, that it has to start at event 1 and it can go till day 12. Where is day 12? This is 12th day. So this is your activity A 12 days, but it has to end at 5. So you have got a float now. Similarly, for activity F, when is it starting? It is starting at 3 days, right? And how long it can go? 6 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here F 6 days and 1 day of float. Okay, can you guys see the whole scheme in the time scale chart now? Arrows are the same, events are numbered the same. Following it or not? What we did right now?
Sir, for activity F,
Yeah.
fixed duration, it will not end up with four. No, sir.
No.
Activity
See.
four, it's four number,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
already,
Why not?
because F has duration of 6, and we are here taking 7
Yeah.
upward.
So day 7. So that means there is 1 day of float here, right? 1 day of float is still there, na? And for activity A also there is 3 day of float here,
Yes, sir.
right? I mean,
Yes, understood.
you have, if you start by earliest start of F, you have got 1 day of scope at towards the end, right? Just the
Yes.
basic terms. I'm not even talking logically. I mean technically. So time scaled. Let's see इतनी मेहनत क्यों की. Critical path is B, C, D, E. Let's see if there is some scope of reduction. You can reduce B, C, D. There is 1 day scope for each activity, right? And so 1 day scope, that means cost slope, just the difference. B, C, D, and F. No, not F. E, right? 150. What about the other activities? Cost slope 200, and uh, what is this? 600 minus 300. You agree this is the cost slope? The values calculated? Okay. So let's say you have to do crashing now. Let me write it. 1. Duration is how much? 15 days. Crashing is none. Uh, direct cost. Direct cost would be the total cost till now. What is the total cost? 15, 25, 27, uh, 29, 39, 44. Right? 4400. So direct cost is 4400, and indirect cost 100 per day.
100 rupees.
Yeah. So 100 into 15. That means your cumulative cost till now is how much? 5900. Now let's go to step 2. Which is your critical path? Critical path is BCDE. If you have to reduce BCDE, you have to crash any activity on this line. Which activity can you crash? You will say, let's check the cost flow for each activity. B, C, D, and E. Activity E has minimum cost flow, right? 100 days, 100 rupees. So, E by 1 day, duration becomes 14. Now let's see इतनी मेहनत जो की थी उसको विजुलाइज करने के लिए. जैसे यू reduce E by 1 day.
Sir,
Yeah.
I think D is having the minimum cost, sir. Means 100 rupees, and
Yeah, yeah,
E is
yeah.
having 150.
Yeah. Thank you. I just checked. Okay, so let's reduce D by 1 day. So if you reduce D by 1 day, here this total float, it went away, right? 4 plus 2 6 and 6 here. There is no float now. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So this is 6 with 0 float. Let's do it. Direct cost minus plus 100. Indirect cost reducing the day by 1. So cumulative cost is again the same. Step 3. What is your critical path now? See, now your critical path is B, C, D, E and BFE, the dark lines. There is no float here itself. So BFE is also how much? 3 and 6, 9, 9 plus 5, 14. And BCD is also 14. So if you have to crash it, then you have to crash both these paths. Step 1 was BCD and now you have got BFE. So by logic, you can pick the common activities. Common activities are what? B or E.
B.
If you check, B cost slope is 500, E cost slope no 300, E cost slope is 150. Or if you take any other activity, F and C, D has no scope now. So F plus C, C would have been 600 higher. So let's reduce E. So E by 1 day, 13 days. Direct cost is 150. Indirect cost is minus 100. This becomes 6400. Right? So let's do it. Yeah, there are like 4 days now here, and this float is now 2 days only. Right? Now E we have crashed. What next? Either we can crash, still our critical path is same, BCDE and BFE, both 13 day, right? 3 4 2 4 and 3 6 4, 13 days. What should we crash now? Either C plus F or activity B. So we'll say activity B we can crash, right? So B by 1 day, this becomes 12. Step 4. If you crash B by 1 day, the cost is 600 minus 100, 7000. What about the duration? Uh, this is 2. Now here the overall float reduced, right? So this is now 1. 1 or 2? I mean 2, 6, 4, 12, and this is 12. So the float here is 0 now. See, now we have also reduced B. If you calculate the duration, B is reduced. Uh, there is some scope in C. D is also reduced. E is also reduced. So if you calculate the durations now, A is 12, B, C, D, E. 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4.
12.
1 minute. 2 plus 3. Just a moment, guys. Yeah, this will be 4, right? Yeah, 12. And what about BFE? 2,
12.
4 and 6, 12 again.
12. Yes.
Now you can see that Ac- Path A has also become critical. Can you see day by day duration, and in the time scaled diagram, the floats of other paths are getting lost? I mean, we are using the floats. Can you imagine it? Okay, so now you have got three paths, and if you have to reduce the duration by even 1 day, so you will say you will have to reduce
For three paths, sir.
for three paths. So that would be act- which activities? Activity A, F,
A.
and C by 1 day. A, F, C by 1 day. So this brings your duration to 11 days, 5, and direct cost is how much? A plus F plus C, 200, 300 plus 600. So 1100 minus 100, 8000. So now what is your duration here? It is 11, 10, this is 5, and this is 3. Okay, so now you have even, can you can you reduce further? Can you
No,
crash it
sir.
further?
No, sir.
Why not?
Sir, because C has means already crashed, sir. So there
Okay,
is no chance for crashing that path.
yeah. So one path we already crashed, B, C, D, E, right? So no chance further. That means there is no need to crash further, right? So this becomes your minimum duration. And what is the optimum cost now? Okay, there was one person who had doubt like, why did we reduce it directly by 4 days? Can you see it? If you see by time scale diagram in the previous question also, right? This was the previous question. For activity F by 4 days we did, D by 2 days we had already done. So D was exhausted. So from the paths itself we deduced that there was some float in other activities in other paths. That way we can reduce it directly by 4 days. Just a moment. I hope the fogging sound is less now. You guys can hear me clearly, right? Or is the
Yes, sir.
background noise too much?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so just by seeing the time scaled version right here in the paths itself, I think the guy is coming back. Uh, Thank you for being patient, guys. This was also very necessary for me. Okay, so what we would do is we will discuss step 3. Till step 2, we had completely exhausted D, right? So, what our paths say, let me write it. ADFH, AE, BG, CH, BFH, and ADG. So, duration here, what was D? 9. E was how much? 20, and H was 12. No, no, this is. And we reduced it, so this became 7. And A and D, 8 and 20. Yeah, can you guys help me write the values? For activity C it was 6 and H was 12. For activity A, D, G it was 5, D was 9, that reduced to 7, and G was how much? 11. For B and G it was 8 and 11, and for BFH it was 8, 9, and 12. Right. So what I am bringing it for you guys is the alphabetical version of time scale diagram. Okay. Let's write the critical. Let's write the total durations also till now. 8, 7, 15, 15, and 21. Right. Am I missing something? No. 36. What about others? 28, 19, 8, 9, 17, and this 29. 5, 7, 12, and 11, 23, and this was 18. Right? So, if you talk about the path, this was your critical path. D, you have already crashed how much it was available. Now the activities available are A, F, and H. If you crash activity for activity F also, you can go day by day. What is the total limit here? Total limit was 5 days. Sorry, 4 days. 9 minus 5, 4 days. So if you crash here F by 4 days, you can see that even in rest of the times, there is no one near 32 days. So even if F was not there in any other paths and you crash it, no other path would have become critical path. So that's why I crashed it directly to 5, exhausting it. So this become 32, and here F was there. So 5, 25, and yeah, that's it. Even now the critical path remains same. Can you see now how it affected reducing F by 4 days? Step 3. It didn't affect much our other paths, that so much that they become critical, right? 18, 28, 23, 19, 25. The critical path is same. If by crashing it in some manner, other path would have become critical, then we would have gone day by day, or we would not have crashed F completely and reduced it by partially only, like 3 4 days, 3 days. Okay, clear why what we did, why we did in one step, or do you want me to repeat other steps also like this?
No, sir, it's fine.
Okay. Uh, yeah. So we saw the time scaled version also. We saw the alphabetical version also. Now let's try to plot the curve, cost curve. Okay. Duration, I would say 15, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 also come near, please. Yeah, and cost, let's say 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. Okay. So for for duration of 15 days, the cost was 5900, and similarly for 14 days also. Or do you guys want to plot direct and indirect curves separately? I mean, if they're asking, you can plot it, but I don't think in this case they would be asking. Yeah, 5900 in both the cases. What about 13 day? 13 day it would be 6400. So 6400 would be somewhere here. Then you have got on 12 days 7,000 and on 11th day 8,000. So your curve becomes something like this, and from here it is a straight. Yeah. So what is the optimum cost? The minimum cost is this one, 5900. So for 5900, what is the minimum duration? Minimum duration is 14 days. Okay. Now there could have been one case where, let's say, the crash cost of D would have, instead of 100, it would have been 50, right? So the cumulative cost would have been 5850. So it would have gone a little down and then joined it. So that would have given you the curve that we were talking about, optimum cost and some duration. Okay. So you have plotted the project cost curve and you know minimum cost and minimum duration. So if what would be the project duration in this case? Original case, minimum project duration, optimum project duration, because there are so many objectives coming in. Okay. Uh, there was one person who asked a doubt regarding assignment 5, question number 567, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you read those questions for me, or what were those questions? Are you in position
Yeah,
to
sir.
solve them now?
Yeah. Can you wait for minute?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I will wait.
Uh, there is a table. The minimum direct cost of a project are given below in table 1. The indirect cost increases linearly at the rate of rupees 100 per day,
Yeah,
and the bid submitted to contractor was for rupees 1 lakh,
yeah,
and the table is given there, like duration 22 days, minimum direct cost is given as 75,300. For 23 it is 74,200. 24 it is
okay,
73,300, like that. Up to 29 it
yeah,
is 69,950.
okay. Uh,
Yeah.
so what are they asking you?
Uh, what they ask is the like profit the contractor make if the project is scheduled to complete in 23 days, and something maximum profit the contractor can make if is the dash if the project is completed in dash days.
Okay, so what we would do is we will solve a similar question, but I mean I won't even keep the format same. I will even change the format. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So you guys know how the activity duration changes, right? Let's say the quantum of work is total work is 10,000 cubic meter concrete, right? A small job. How can you how can you complete this quantity? How can you do concreting for this quantity? Either you will be saying, okay, I have got multiple options. One thing, let me do it by manual mixing, right? Manual mixing, or second case, let me call some yeah, there could be small mixer, right? And in third case, you could just call by RMC plant. Okay. In case of manual mixing, you would require like three labors and some equipment. So it would do it for you 1000 m cube per day. If you do it by small mixer, you would be doing 2500 m cube per day. And by RMC can deliver 10,000 meter cube per day in the same day itself. Okay. What is the direct cost for you? If you go by this method, overall it would cost you something around 75. Just I'm writing random figures, okay? 7.5 lakh. Okay. And if you go by this method, it would cost you 7 lakh. And by RMC, let it be 8 lakh. By RMC, let it be 8.2 lakh. Okay. This is the direct cost. But you know that for the project duration, there can be some indirect cost also. So let indirect cost be rupees 10k per day. So can you calculate the cost for each alternative? Let's try to calculate cost for each alternative. Alternative, direct, indirect, total, total cost. So for alternative 1, you can say that direct cost is uh, 750. I am writing in thousands. Okay. Indirect cost, as it is going for 10 day, so 100. So total cost becomes 850. For alternative 2, direct cost is 800. Indirect cost is how much? 25 cubic meter per day. So 4 days. Yeah. This 10,000, so 10 days. 1 day. So that brings us to 4 day 40. Total cost becomes 840. Let me write durations also. Okay. And duration is how much? 10, 4, 3, 1. Direct cost is 820. Indirect cost is 10. Your total cost is 830. Followed till here? See, I'm just making the numerical for you right now. Uh, let's say the cost Contract value is this is how much 10,000, right? So rupees 100 per cubic meter. So can you calculate profit now? So if it is 100 rupees per cubic meter, then contract value would be how much? 100 into 10,000 in divided by 1000, because we are writing it in terms of thousands, right? So profit would be 150, 160, 170. So if somebody asks you that if you finish it in 4 days, what would be your profit and what would be your maximum profit? Can you calculate it now? Okay. Anybody who understood this problem, can you give me a show of hands? People who understood this problem, what we did right now. Okay, people who didn't understand or didn't get what we did right now, can you raise your hands? Okay, there's one person. Thank you for. What about others? Okay, so whatever we were doing till now was, let's say there is a project. Okay, प्रोजेक्ट क्या है? 10K मीटर क्यूब कंक्रीट करना. ओनली वन एक्टिविटी. सो एक्टिविटी ए 2. अब फॉर दिस एक्टिविटी व्हाट इज़ द ड्यूरेशन? नॉर्मल ड्यूरेशन इज़ 10 days दैट हैज़ बीन गिवन टू यू. कि अगर आप मैनुअल मेथड से करते हो सो 10 days में करोगे 1000 m³ पर डे एंड उसका डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट दिया हुआ है 750, राइट? एंड इनडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट हैज़ बीन ऑल्सो गिवन टू यू. वेयर इज इनडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट? या 10,000. सो 10, right? Now there are, what are the alternatives now? You can also do it in 4 days. When? There is alternative 2. This was manual. This was a small mixer. So you see some crashing happened. From 10 your duration reduced to 4 days. But how much did your cost reduce? So for 4 days you had the total cost 800 and indirect cost of 40. So total cost become 850. And there was third case. I mean, see, this is similar to what the numerical values you get. What I am showing you is how those values would have been derived. Excuse me. Yeah. So any specific doubt now? Any specific doubt? I guess this one session is going to uh, create a bad image of mine for you guys, right? Such a boring and not that clear session, right?
So that last part, contract value, is not getting.
Okay. So the project was of 10K cubic meter. It was item rate contract. Okay. So item rate contract, and the bid value was 100 rupees per meter cube. So that means total Amount, how much is it? 100 into 10,000, right? So 100,000 rupees become your total cost, your total uh, contract value. Like this is the value, this is the amount that the client will pay you, right? Your total quantum of work was 10,000. Your bid value was 100 per meter cube. So your total amount became 10 lakh, right? And out of this 10 lakh, your cost is being calculated from this alternatives.
Yes, sir.
And your cost and duration both are being calculated by these alternatives. Then
Yes.
all you have to do is you have to calculate the cost and find out the profit.
Okay, sir.
See, the exercise that we did for only one activity, this is the same thing that happens when you talk about the whole project. How is your activity duration getting reduced? Either you are adding some resources, or the same workers are doing overtime, so the number of days remain the same but your cost of direct cost has increased, or you added some other technology that has directly reduced your duration but increased your cost, right? Things like this. So what we saw is an example where we uh, reduce the duration by increasing, by what I can say, increasing the productivity by using newer technologies. Okay, so before moving forward, let me let me go to the doubt question. Yeah, this was the question, which assignment 4, question number 7 to 15, right?
Yes.
Guys who had problems in this question, are you still here? Yeah. So asking one more time, this question, should we start from the beginning or go directly to the network analysis and see what happens? We have time, we can do both, but it's just to uh, save your time. Should we start from the beginning? Anybody? Or should we jump to network analysis? Is this question still a doubt for anybody?
नहीं सर, ये तो पहले किया ना, हम लोग किया था ये नेटवर्क एनालिसिस सब।
हाँ, ये असाइनमेंट 4 का क्वेश्चन है एंड लेक्चर के सेशन के शुरू में सम पीपल सेड दैट दिस वाज अ डाउट.
कोई डाउट नहीं है सर, ये तो काफी पुराना हो गया है, छोड़ दीजिए।
Okay. Uh, Nobody has this question as a doubt now. As asking for the last time. Okay. So let me just remove these slides. So another crushing question, third, last for the day, but this time we will try it by activity on node. Same Similar question, establish the least cost for expediting the contract. Determine the optimum duration of the contract assuming the indirect cost is rupees 125 per day. So first thing, to make the network, activity on node. So let's draw a rough network first. Activity A, then we have got B, C, what else? From activity B again you have got D and E, right? From activity C and activity E, sorry, yeah, this is activity D, this is activity E. From activity C and E you have got activity G. Uh, what about activity F? From C you have got activity F. Then from activity F you have got activity H, and I is DGH. Yeah, is this the correct network?
Yes, sir.
Do you guys think that our steps will change if we tried by activity on node network? Open question, guys. Be quick.
No, sir, it is not finished.
Steps will remain same, right?
It's similar, even similar.
Okay. So what we would do is, uh, let's let me just take a picture. We will draw a proper formal diagram, and yes, we will solve it a little. We will try to solve it in less time. Okay. So activity A, then we have got activity B, activity C, then from B you have got activity E, activity G, then further you have got activity F, or let's bring it a little closer, activity F, then you have got activity H, and you have got activity D, yeah, it kind of seems the same network to me. What about the durations? Writing the normal durations: 12, 8, 15, 23, 12, 8, 15, 23, 5, 5, 20, 13, 12, 5, 5, 20, 13, and 12. So first step, network analysis, right? 0, 12, 12, 20, 12, 12 and 15, 27. Now for this it would be 20, 20 plus 23, 43. What about activity E? 20,
7.
25, right? For activity G, 27, and 20, 47. For I Just yeah. For activity F, 27, 27 plus 5, 33. For activity H, 33 plus 13, 46. So 47, 43, 46. So it comes 47, and 47 and plus 12, 59.
Nine.
Yeah, is this correct, guys? Forward pass.
Yes, sir, correct.
Yes, sir, correct. Correct.
Okay, so let's do the backward pass also. 59, 47. So 47, 47, 47, 47 minus 13. Wait a minute. 34, 27, 34, 28, 28, 13. Now
Sir,
coming to
on activity F, it will be 32 days, sir.
uh, activity F. Yeah, yeah, it would be 32 days. For Thank you. 32, and this becomes how much? 45. Yeah. So this is 29, 29, and 14. Similarly, coming backwards, this is okay. 47, 47 minus 23, 24. And this is, yeah, 27, 27 minus 5, 22. This is right. Or
ये 27 होगा ना सर सी 27
yeah, because it is on the critical path, and we have got two arrows coming in. So this would be 22, right? Two arrows, 22 and 24. So 22, 22 minus 8, 14. So 12, 0. Now let's calculate total float first. It will give us the idea of what is the critical path. 0, 2, 2, 0, 0, 2, 0, 2, and 2. Right? This is the critical path. AC GI.
yes sir
Zero four.
Okay, everybody happy with the critical path? One more thing, let's just calculate the total normal duration. How much is it? Total normal cost.
thirty six 500
Okay, so this is 36,500. What about cost slope? For A, it becomes 200 by 200, right? For B, 150. For C, uh, 600 by 3, 200. This is for D, it is 0. For E, 50, 50 by 1. For F, 300 by 1, 300. For G, 300 by 5, 60. For H, 2580, 80, 80 minus 2, 80 by 2, 40. And for I, 150 by 2, 75. This is the cost slope. Agreed? Yeah. So, um, what else have been given? Indirect cost is 125. So step 1, crashing none. Direct cost is 36500. Indirect cost is how much? 59 into 125. How much is it? 43875, and duration is 59 days. Now step 2, coming to crashing. The critical path is still is ACGI. What are all the paths? Just write it down as usual. Okay, ACGI, uh, or let it be. Let's try without writing it down. We know the critical path is ACGI. Let's try to reduce the duration by 1 day. Which activity will you pick? The one with minimum cost flow, right? In A, C, G, and I, you say G has the minimum cost flow 60. So do it. G by 1 day. So direct cost would reduce by 60, no, increase by 60, and direct cost would reduce by 125. So if you reduce G by 1 day, as soon as you do it, this becomes 19, this 47 comes to 46, and this becomes 46, 59 to 58, and similar all calculations, 58, 46, and so on. But is it changing now again? You would see that in the rest of the paths, either 45 or 43, and 46 again at G is the maximum one. So while coming towards your last activity, 46 is the early start time. Again your critical path is same, ACGI. Let's reduce G by 1 more day. G by 1 day, this was 58, and this becomes 57. So as soon as you reduce G again, this is 18, and this is now 45. If this becomes 45 and this is 57,
There will be, sir, two critical paths.
now there are two critical paths. Which one?
Sir, ACFHI and ACGI.
Okay, so now you can see from figure that ACGI, uh, this one, ACGI and ACFHI are critical, and from here itself you can see that this value is 45, 45, and 43. So if you reduce both these paths by 2 days, even till then other paths won't become critical. Is that like that? No, you cannot say it. Okay, you will have to try, because there is one more path, ABEGI, that you have not taken into consideration. So what you do is you try to reduce it by 1 day again. The critical paths are ACGI and ACFHI. Which activity should we focus? Either the common ones or pair it.
T,
Right, two options. Either the
T or
common.
A
So A is
or
100.
I.
Yeah, A is 100, I is 75. So I think we should go by I first.
Yes, sir.
Reduce I by 1 day. Or can we do directly reduce I by 2 days as it is the last activity?
Yes, sir.
Right? So I by 2 days. This becomes 55. This was plus 60 minus 125. plus 150 minus 250, right? And as soon as you do it, this becomes 10, 55, 55. No other change, right? Still the critical path is same. So now which activity should we focus? C and F, is there any combination? C and F would be C, G. G is also 60 and H is 40. So see, now you have got two paths again. uh, ACGI and
ACFHI.
ACFHI. So if you reduce A, it will cost you 100 per day, and if you reduce G and H also, it will cost you 100. So it's up to you. Which one do you want to proceed with? Okay, let's go by reducing A itself.
Sir, in this I is all we have reduced. We can't reduce further I.
Yeah, we cannot reduce I further. I we There was 2 day scope in I, right? Normal duration was 12,
Oh,
crash duration was 10, and
yes, yes, sir.
in this
Yes, sir.
itself, in this step itself, we reduced by 2 days. So two options: either go with A or G and H. Which one do you prefer?
Minimum cost
No, both have
100
minimum
A.
cost. That's what I pointed out. And C is also there, but
Okay.
C's cost is 200. So minimum cost are either you reduce A or you reduce G and H, because if you go and reduce G and F also, it is more. Let's go by A. You guys can see here, right, that if you reduce the duration of A by 1 day, overall cost would be 100. For both the paths, if you have to reduce duration by 1 day, in path 1 you reduce G, in part 2 you reduce H. The total cost again is G and H 100. So no change there. Uh, let's go by A by 1 day. So this becomes 54. This becomes plus 100 minus 125. In previous slide, if you do it, now a lot of things are changing. This was 12, so this become 11. 11. You follow it, and it would be somewhat big. Okay. Now what next? The overall duration has changed to 54. Is there any way to follow reduce it again? Okay. We have done so many calculations. Let me calculate the final. Let me calculate the critical paths for you once again. So now you guys know why we need better techniques than these primitive ones for solving these questions. And yes, now this is like basic heuristic based, and even there are I mean, even you can use genetic algorithms, linear programming for all these. Okay, so A is 11, G is 18, and I is 10. That's all we reduce, right? A is 11, G is 18. Zero, 11, 11, 19. This is the first time I am doing with AON. I always prefer AOA for this kind of thing. 19 and 23. How much is it? 42. This becomes 19. 11 and 15. 26. So 26 plus 5, 31. So 19 and 5, 24. So 26 and 18, 44. And 31 plus 13, 44. So again your critical path is same for 54-day duration. Same critical path and no change in your floats because you haven't consumed any float till now. Critical path same. How do you reduce? Again A by 1 day. A has the scope. A can go till 12. So if you reduce A by 1 day, this becomes 53. Again plus 100 minus 125. Whatever was affected, 10, 18, 18, 23, 18, 41. So is your critical path changing now? You would say it is still the same, or has it changed?
Now critical path. There are two critical paths.
No, still. I mean that's what we started with. Two critical paths. Again the critical paths are two only.
Yes, sir.
43 and 53. But A you have used. What other options you have? G and H combined. Reduce it by 1 day, and it is still costing you 100, right? So G and H by 1 day. Finally coming to somewhere where repetitive calculations would make more sense. Okay, so now the duration of wait a minute. Yeah, we have a scope in G. So G is now 17 and H is now 12. So changing these values only. 23 plus 7, 25 plus 17, 42. 30 plus 12, 42. Duration 52. Right. Now is there any scope again in G and H? Again we can reduce by 1 day each. So let's do it. G and H by 1 day. 51 plus 100 minus 125. So that is 16. 41, 41, 11, 41 and 51. Okay, now how many critical paths can you see? So now you can see that all, again one more path has added here. A, B, DI, 10 and 8, 18, 18 and 23, 41. This one is also 41, this one is also 41. So now one more path is added. How can you crash it again? Is there any scope now? If you check the paths, okay, now these three paths, all three have 51 duration, right? Out of which I you cannot do. I you have exhausted. A you have exhausted. uh, H you have exhausted. There is some other, there is some scope in other activities, right? So what can be the pairing? Either you reduce C and B, or you reduce a combination of C, F and B, D, or G, F, B. Can you see it on the in the starting three paths? So C, G, C, F, and B, D. So any combination, if you reduce by 1 day, you will reduce the whole duration by 1 day. Now let's see the cost. Uh, for C it is 200, and for B and D 150. D there is no scope, right? So D is also not under consideration. If you take G and H, G and F, 360, right? More. So what we do is we reduce C and B by 1 day. So B and C by 1 day. How much will it cost? 150 plus 200, right? This was F and G plus B was more than that. 150 plus 200 is 350, plus 350 minus 125, and let's do it. So C is now 14 and B is now 7. uh, do it again. 24, 17, 17, 22, 24, 29. So 29, 40, 40, 50. See, I know because it is the same path, that's why I can this yeah, 24 here. And what about this path? This is like 17 and this is like 40. Yeah. So again, the same three paths, and which have the scope. Is there some scope in C and B again? One more day we can do for C and B. Same values. Okay, guys, coming to you. Um, how many of you are unsatisfied with this session, with these numericals?
So it is very much lengthy, sir. In one question, it will take half an hour at least.
Yeah, easily. I mean, these kinds of crashing problems and crashing problems are taking so much time. When we move into resource leveling, it would be some different, some other headache. And the only problem is that we are we are training ourselves to do these questions in a what I can say manual manner, right? Where we don't have tools in front of us, where we don't know that if you are crashing together two three activities, we are checking everything arbitrarily. So yeah, this takes times, and this is the way in the beginning you do it. Right now,
So
even
which software, sir, it does, sir? By which software we can calculate this?
crash cost, even basics like MSP can do it. Even MS Project can do it. You can give both crash duration and crash cost.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully you got an idea of what is happening. For this numerical, I will try and complete, and when I upload the slides, I will upload with the complete solution. Any questions? Any doubts? Or
सर ये जब
No.
yeah.
ये फॉरवर्ड पास होने के बाद बैकवर्ड पास आने के लिए कुछ लॉजिक है कि बिना लिख के कुछ फॉरवर्ड पास होने के बाद क्रिटिकल पाथ मालूम मतलब फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं क्या सर? कुछ लॉजिक है कुछ, मतलब
हाँ
बिना लिख
मतलब
के?
एक एक लॉजिक लॉजिक क्या है जो बेसिक लॉजिक वही है बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट। अभी जैसे यही जो सेम नेटवर्क था ना हमारा,
हाँ
अगर
सर।
इसी में मैं आपसे पूछूं कि क्रिटिकल पाथ क्या है, क्या था इनिशियली, तो जहाँ पर भी, अच्छा अर्ली स्टार्ट टाइम ऑफ एक्टिविटी का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? मैक्सिमम ऑफ अर्ली फिनिश टाइम ऑफ प्रीवियस एक्टिविटीज़,
यस सर।
यही होता
Yes.
है ना। सो जब भी ऐसा हो कि कोई जंक्शन आ रहा हो जहाँ पर दो प्रेडेसेसर्स हों, तो प्रेडेसेसर्स में ये डिसाइड कर लिया कि हाँ ठीक है, अगर इस एक्टिविटी का अर्ली फिनिश टाइम लेट था, दैट मीन्स नेक्स्ट वाले के लिए अर्ली स्टार्ट टाइम ये हो गया। तो अगर क्रिटिकल पाथ पर होगा तो इसमें यही प्रेडेसेसर होगा, नहीं तो दोनों नहीं होंगे। आई नो ठीक है। लेट मी शो लेट मी शो इट टू यू हियर, जहाँ पर हमने ड्यूरेशन भी लिख रखा हो। ऐसा कोई स्लाइड है क्या? Yeah, I found one. या सो जो अभी हमने बात की ना, लेट्स ट्राई टू सी इट, नॉट द राइट वे,
यस
आई
सर।
वोंट सजेस्ट इट, बट लेट्स सी। ज़ीरो, ज़ीरो, 20, 20, 35, ज़ीरो, 50, ज़ीरो, 35,
जीरो।
35, 75, right? As soon as you come to this junction, you can see that या तो 50 या 35, 50 इज मैक्सिमम। सो इस मीन
Yes.
यस सर।
ये तो हमारा क्रिटिकल पाथ होने से रहा।
अच्छा।
50 प्लस 25, 75, एंड व्हाट इज दिस? 75 प्लस 10, 85, 85। सो ऑल यू नीड टू डू इज जस्ट हैव अ लुक बैकवर्ड्स। तो उसके बजाय तरीका वही होता है कि टोटल फ्रूट कैलकुलेट कर लो। लाइक राइट नाउ इफ यू सी, यू वुड से कि 85 तक हम कैसे पहुँचे? एक्टिविटी जी, देन 75 एक्टिविटी एफ, एक्टिविटी डी एंड प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट। सो दिस इज़ योर क्रिटिकल पाथ, अगर केवल फॉरवर्ड पाथ से देखना हो तो।
ओके ओके सर, ओके सर।
बट एक्चुअली इट डजेंट सर्व एनी पर्पस। ओके, any other question? These topics maybe uh, okay, I will just finish the session because we are already over time. Thank you guys, thank you for attending, thank you for being patient for these questions. Hopefully I will
Thank
see you
you.
in the next session. Do try crashing on you at your end, at least
Yes,
How,
sir.
a
how,
couple of
how this
questions.
is used in
Yeah.
how in what way it is used in projects, sir? How they are using this in
uh,
projects?
like see, right now when you calculated the normal duration initially was 59 days. Let's say the client says,
Hmm.
okay, you have to finish by 55 days, then you should know now what is going to be a cumulative cost and which activities are you going to crash. So you know that if you have to finish by 55 days, you have to crash g
Cost
and I
also
by
will.
2 days each. Or
Ah,
similarly,
okay.
in this
Ah,
case itself, if you want to calculate what is the minimum cost, right? What is the optimum
Yes, sir.
cost? So you will say that at this point, till now what is happening, this is also negative, 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 right? Addition is
Yes.
less. So, but at this point it is positive. So you can say that the value at 51 days is going to be the minimum cost and
Even
optimum
it is
duration.
going to increase.
So if you complete your project by 51 days, you will say, okay, the cost that incurred is minimum. That is what you want, na?
300 it will be going. Yes, yes.
Tender price is
Cost.
fixed. So all you want is minimum cost. And then it might also be the case that there are some delay clauses or bonus clause.
Delay, how much content you are going to import?
Yeah. So let's say that your client wants the project to complete in 55 days. Okay. So on the basis of 55 days, he has told you that this much he will pay. Now you calculate that my normal duration is 59 days. My profit is 10,000 rupees. If I if I complete in 59 days, my profit is 10,000 rupees. If I complete in 55 days, I have to pay extra for crashing. So my profit now is 9,000 rupees. Let's say if the client says that your delay cost is 100 rupees per day only. So you will be like, if I complete it in 59 days, delay cost will be 400 rupees. So reduce my profit by 400, 9,600. Then why will you finish in 55 days?
Yes.
Right? You're like, you are happy if even if you complete in 59 days, your net profit is more. So in this way you can use delay and bonus clauses.
Okay.
And trust me, like crashing, these numericals are like at least 40 years old. What we did everything today was 35 to 40 years old. So you won't be seeing such calculations on site now. But the whatever you are seeing on site is an offshoot of these basic concepts. So any other point I should elaborate, or you would like me to elaborate or discuss?
सर
Yeah.
क्या हम क्रैश ड्यूरेशन लेके मैक्सिमम ये कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं कॉस्ट?
Maximum cost.
हाँ, व्हाटएवर, मतलब कैलकुलेशन में क्या डिफरेंस आएगा? इट्स if we
Okay.
take all durations in means in crash things, you know.
हाँ, मतलब वही है कि हमें अगर टेबल दी हुई है जिसमें एक तरफ नॉर्मल ड्यूरेशन है, एक तरफ क्रैश ड्यूरेशन है. सो अगर हम नॉर्मल के बजाय क्रैश ड्यूरेशन से शेड्यूल बनाते हैं,
हाँ
राइट, और सभी की क्रैश कॉस्ट ऐड कर लेते हैं,
हाँ.
राइट, दैट्स व्हाट यू आर आस्किंग.
यस.
सो इसके लिए हमने एक क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किया था. विच वन वाज इट? आई थिंक सबसे पहला ही जो हमने सॉल्व किया था,
ओके.
राइट, सी दिस.
हाँ.
हमारा जो क्रिटिकल पाथ आया वो ए डी एफ एच आया.
यस.
जब ए डी एफ एच पर जो सारी एक्टिविटीज़ थी वो हमने क्रैश कर दी.
ओके. यस.
अभी एक्टिविटी ई में काफ़ी स्कोप है, 13 डे से क्रैश कर सकता है. बट इसे क्रैश करने का कोई मतलब है क्या?
नहीं.
अगर इसे हमने क्रैश भी कर लिया तो भी हमें
हाँ.
एक्स्ट्रा पे ही करना पड़ रहा है. 13
यस.
इंटू ई का डेली है 30, सो 390
यस.
रुपीज़ एक्स्ट्रा हमें पे करना पड़
3.
रहा है.
यस.
बट ड्यूरेशन तो वही है.
यस.
सो दिस काइंड ऑफ हेल्प्स यू इन आइडेंटिफाइंग कि हमें कौन सी एक्टिविटीज़ क्रैश करनी है, कौन सी नहीं करनी है, किसमें कितना
ओके.
स्कोप है. हो सकता है कि किसी और न्यूमेरिकल में होता कि एक्टिविटी ई में 13 डे का स्कोप है, बट एट मैक्स यू कैन क्रैश इट फॉर 5 डेज.
यस. ओके. हाँ.
सो इसलिए हम डायरेक्टली उससे नहीं जा सकते.
ओके सर. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sir.
So, any other question, guys? One more thing, if you want, you can just try these three numericals on your own, and if you have any trouble, if you don't agree with the values, you can write it on discussion forum. I will check it. So this brings us to the end of this session. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending. Hope to see you in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Signing off.